Can I cover? You're good to go. And with that, I think we're being live streamed now. If I can read it on the monitor way across the room. I want to welcome everyone to our town council meeting for Monday, April 4th, 2022. This is our first hybrid meeting with everyone back in chambers and some people joining us on Zoom on the screen across the way from us. So this is a new experiment for us. I'm sure it'll go very well. We've had good luck with Zoom over these past 2 years. Hard to believe it's been that long, but it's good to see everyone back in chambers again and welcome everyone back to the first council meeting of hopefully the post-COVID era. So we'll begin the meeting tonight with the call to order. And as usual, we will begin this meeting by acknowledging that we're meeting on Aboriginal land that has been inhabited by Indigenous peoples. In particular, we acknowledge the traditional territory of the Huron-Wendat, Anishinaabe, Haudenosaunee, Anishinaabeg, and the Oneida and the Haudenosaunee peoples. Item 2 tonight is the approval of the agenda. The recommendation reads that the agenda for the council meeting of April 4th, 2022 be approved as presented. Could I ask for a mover, please? Moved by Councillor Ostrander, seconded by Councillor Shankar. Any comments, questions on the agenda this evening? Seeing none, I'll call the question. All in favor? Thank you, everyone. 3 declarations of interest. Does any member of council have a declaration this evening? Seeing none. 4 under presentations. We have no presentations tonight. 5 delegations, no delegations either. 6 minutes of the previous council meetings. We do have 1 set of minutes under 6.1. That's our last council meeting. The recommendation there reads that the council minutes dated March 21st, 2022 be accepted as presented. Could I ask for a mover, please? Moved by Councillor McConnell, seconded by Councillor Burton. Any comments, questions on that set of minutes? Seeing none, I'll call the question. Then all in favor? Motion is carried. Thanks, everyone. 7 communications and petitions, nothing tonight. 8 under consent reports. We do just have the information package. Would anyone like to separate any items there on the information package tonight? Seeing none, I'll proceed with the recommendation then that all items listed under the consent report section of the agenda to be accepted as presented. And that does just include 8.1. The information package is always presented under separate cover. Could I have a mover, please? Moved by Councillor Young, seconded by Councillor Shankar. Any further discussion on item 8? Seeing none, I'll call the question. All in favor? Motion is carried. Thanks again, everyone. Committee reports. We have no committee reports. Mayor's portion this evening. A couple of things, along with a number of other members of council. I attended the anniversary of the South Grenville Beacon held at the Legion on Saturday. Good to get out to the Legion again. I will say, it was a good crowd there as well. And congratulations to John Marshall and Veronica Burchell, the 2 main people with the Beacon on celebrating that first anniversary. First year is always the toughest one. So any new business. So congratulations on getting over the hump there. And it was good to be able to celebrate in person with everyone on Saturday. On Friday, I actually attended along with representatives of Augusta Township Council, Councillor Jansman, and CAOs from both Prescott and Augusta, meeting at Steve Clark's office to review some of our Augusta Prescott priorities and some housing issues and so on. Very good meeting with the minister. And I think we've sort of identified some of the ways to proceed forward with a couple of things that do affect both our municipalities. And I also attended a meeting of our joint group back on, I think it was the 22nd of March with Councillor Shankar out in Augusta, another excellent meeting. And we are preparing for that joint meeting of the 2 councils coming up on Wednesday night at 6 o'clock out in Augusta. So look forward to having everyone there that night, getting together with our friends in Augusta again and continuing to push along the great work we're doing together as with our 2 municipalities. Let me see. And also Police Services Board had that on Thursday morning. Want to make a brief comment on the Fort Town Night Run. I'll keep it short on that, but it was something that did arise over the weekend online. Someone did accuse me online of taking it a little personally, and I got to admit I did take it personally, quite frankly, because we do so much, this council and this staff, we do so much to support local recreation and culture and so forth. Our community grants program, what we give back in kind. So it is a little shocking to get those sorts of complaints, especially when, as Mr. Armstrong proved with his comments to the Recorder and Times on Friday, that the complaints really had no basis. And it would have been nice for the organizers to contact us on that rather than going to the newspapers and this turning into kind of a non-story, I would say. But at any rate, we're taking the high road here, and we will continue with our support of the night run as we promised, with the closure of the streets and what we're doing at the arena itself, and working with them as we can to contribute to the best night run possible for the year 2022. But I just wanted to make a comment on that because, quite frankly, I'm proud of what we do here to support local groups, local events. This council has always been strong about that when it comes to the community grants and the in-kind and just helping out everyone that is going to bring an event to town. So we are open for that. Please don't let that story in the Recorder and Times discourage anyone that's looking to start a festival, start an event. Our doors are open. We have a great staff here that are willing to talk, a council here that's very accepting of new proposals and new ideas. And I will note also that we have supported the Fort Town Night Run and every year with significant in-kind contributions. So at any rate, I'll move along there and move on to 11 outside boards, committees, and commissions, and start as always with Councilor Burton.
Thank you, Mayor Todd. Our March break scavenger hunt was a huge success this year. We had over 50 youth and retirees participate. So that was thanks to Samantha for organizing that and their staff. Staff is working on the community cleanup day as well. And that's going to be announced shortly. The trade show was a huge success. I think after talking to Dave Annabelle, he was very happy with the amount of people that came in. The compost yard will be open on April 19th. So it's supposed to be nice in the next couple of days. So I can see people raking up their yards and wanting to get all that winter dead stuff off of there and go to the compost. And I noticed that the street sweeper was out today cleaning up the streets. So that's encouraging that we know that spring is here and hopefully it will stay. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you. Councilor Jasmine, please.
Thank you. The Planning Advisory Committee met on March 24th and we approved a couple of CIP applications. And as well in the agenda was Dana asking for the members to submit to her by April 8th anything that they wanted to see considered to improve the CIP application for its proposed revision. So I would extend that to anybody here too. If you have any ideas, please direct them to Dana before Friday. That would be great. Yeah, the trade show was excellent. So it was so nice. I understand the numbers were really good. So that's wonderful. As well as a couple other councillors, I attended the Augusta Township Mayor's Breakfast on March 25th. So I found that very interesting. It was nice to see that was so well attended. And I think that's it for me. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor Jasmine. Councillor McConnell.
Thank you, Mayor Todd. I'm going to talk about the library tonight. The library, well, you know, I'm the board appointment to the library. The library is having a welcome back to the library or a spring opening, whatever you want to call it. It's starting on the week of Monday, April 11th and running to Thursday, April 14th. On Monday in the morning, they're having a preschool tea party with the Easter Bunny theme. In the afternoon, there's an adult tea party. And at 4 p.m. school-age children's tea party. In the evening, there's going to be art demonstration. And in the evening, there'll also be cookies, stuff to eat and drink. Tuesday, we're all invited on Tuesday morning, if you can make it, to speak to anybody that might be there about anything that they might be concerned about in town. So you're all invited to come Tuesday morning. In the afternoon, we're inviting people who moved to Prescott in the last 2 years. And we have a number of people who have joined the library and come into the library in the last couple of years that have accessed the library to help them negotiate some of our strange government ways, and several of these are people who are new to Canada. So it's a good place for them to come, and it's a service that the town provides through the library, which is very beneficial and welcome. That evening, there's a library board meeting, and it's an open meeting. If you have any questions for the board members, you can come and ask them. Excuse me. And as always, if you're interested in joining the library board, you're welcome to come and ask questions, and we'll be happy to answer them for you. Wednesday is a non-book day. As I mentioned before online, we are now letting out puzzles at the library. We will be letting out games as well. So those are turning out to be a big hit. And in the afternoon, non-book day continues. Connect Youth is going to be there doing some rock painting, and to bring your own rock. So we're not supplying the rocks. You have to bring your own rock.
We're not being asked to be there on rock day.
No, but I have a feeling that yourself would be very good in painting a rock, and perhaps you could sit it right on your desk there for the cameras to have a look at. Actually, I think we should challenge you to do that. What do you think? Non-book day continues in the evening with puzzles, games, movies, and skits. And then the week concludes on Thursday with gardening. So we're springing into gardening in the morning, and we will have somebody answering questions about gardening in the afternoon. And then in the evening, we're running a scavenger hunt at the library. So that's from 4 to 7 p.m. And you don't have to bring your own scavenger like it, a rock. You just kind of show up for that, and that goes on. So that's all going on at the library starting Monday, April 11th. And the library board is very excited about that, as are the staff, and I'm sure we'll have a good turnout. Thank you very much.
Great to see so many good things happening at the library. And one more time, I don't think we mentioned it enough. Congratulations to Jane McGuire, our chief librarian, for just wrapping up. I don't want to date Jane, but decades of service down there, and Ann Gillard taking over in, I think it's the end of June, as our new chief librarian. So great to see so many fantastic things happening at the library. All right.
Play Tuesday morning, what time?
Tuesday morning, the library opens at 11, I believe. Yeah, 11 a.m. Yeah. And if I may, thank you very much for mentioning about Jane Pratt, her retirement. We're very fortunate in that her replacement, Anne, is already working at the library. She's been taking library courses and will finish those this month, actually. So she will be a fully qualified librarian. And it's very nice. I know, having been on council here for a number of years, it's always awkward. There's a big gap when we have a senior member of staff leave and another one doesn't come in until 2 weeks, a month, whatever after. In this particular case, we have an overlap. It's been working there, so it should be a seamless transition, and has some nice ideas about new things to do. So it's a good changeover for us.
Yeah, great continuity, and it's one Prescott native to another one as well, which is nice for the town. Somebody coming in that knows and appreciates the town like we all do. So, yeah, excellent news all the way around there. Thanks so much, Lee, for the update in the library. Councilor Ostrander.
Thank you, Your Worship. I also attended the trade show. I did a shift on the Friday afternoon, and boy, it was busy. And nice to see, because what we had where we could draw a crowd in the last couple of years, and it really set the tone, hopefully, for the spring and summer season. I also attended Saturday afternoon to the South Grenville Beacon first anniversary, and my wife won a door prize. So. And I would be remiss if I didn't give you an update on my Connect Youth connection. It goes back a while. They moved from the Anglican Church, their office, Anglican Church in Brockville, into the Brockville Center Shopping Center, which is now non-existent, sort of. And they moved their office into the H&R Block building in the back concourse there. Well, during one of our humongous snowstorms and melts in around the end of December, 1st of February, they had a flood, and they were wallowing around in inches of water, ruined some files. I think it even ruined a couple of laptops, actually. And so they had to move. And so they moved over to the center concourse where the Toronto Dominion Bank used to be there. And things have worked out quite well for them there. They even got an offer from the developer to make it their permanent home. So they had to go through the John Howard Society, who they're joining with, and go through various legalities to see if that was going to fit. And everything's moving ahead. It's been approved. We had an emergency meeting last week to approve the final stages of them okaying it and going ahead with it. So that's going to be a good spot for them to be, is Central and Brockville. That's going to be apartment buildings and various other housing initiatives there. So that's going to be good, and hopefully it goes well for them. So that's it for me.
That's great to hear. And thanks again to Connect Youth for all they're doing at the Leo. I mean, there's some great programming there. Daily basis, right, Sam? It's that drop in after 3 days a week. So that's fantastic too. So to have them providing that service right here and us helping out with the Leo. So good stuff all the way around.
Can I just ask a question of Mike?
Please.
Mike, are they buying it or are they signing a lease? or-
It's a lease situation with the developer. He, he's going to create other housing issues there, but this is, he's going to have, that's going to be split with the old video shop. It used to be next to the TD Bank there. There's going to be something else in there under like a business lease as well. So,
Great. Thank you.
yeah, good. Thanks.
Good stuff. Over to you, Councilor Shankar.
Thank you.
Back.
Thank you. Whirlwind weekend, but I'm glad to be back. I attended a lot of things that everyone else did. I missed out on John Marshall's Beacons anniversary. So congrats to them. The trade show was really good with, I think Dave Annabelle said 1,200 plus.
Yeah, roughly that.
So
Excellent
that's
weekend.
pretty good because there were limited hours too, right? Like it was just, I think it was just the afternoon Friday and 9 to 3 Saturday. Yeah, afternoon Thursday, right? Yeah, I'll be okay.
Till 8.
The joint task force meeting was very good the other day. Even Mayor Malenko zoomed in from Germany, which must.
Did again on Friday too.
Did he?
Yeah, he attended both from Europe.
It's crazy. It was about midnight there. And the mayor's breakfast, there was a really good guest speaker from Kempville, North Grenville.
Gary Dyke.
Yeah, Gary Dyke. I thought he was excellent. Anyway, he brings a whole new approach to how municipal councils are run, or not councils, but municipal program is run, treated like a business, which I thought was really good because, this Fort Town Run thing comes up and we weren't treating it like a business, but we were doing our due diligence on this is what it costs us, right? This is what it costs us. But we were working with them. So I agree with you there. It didn't need to be like that. So sorry, I'm getting off track. But sounds good tomorrow, maybe after 11, maybe after lunch. Is it this Tuesday?
No, it's the week of the 11th.
Next week.
Oh, okay.
So you'll have plenty of time to rest up for it.
Good.
Cancel what you're doing.
I'll erase that.
Get that rock to paint.
Yeah, oh yes. Look for a rock. Look for a rock. Okay, got it.
You can find one for.
Two rocks.
Two rocks. Thanks very much, Gary. Councilor Young.
Thank you, Brett. I attended the St. Lawrence Lodge Board of Management. As of last Friday, we were no longer in shutdown. The outbreak has cleared. And so, while there are still restrictions about people going into the home is open. It's moving along nicely this year. And we're still looking for staff, like most hospitals and nursing homes and what have you. But things are moving nicely. This time, I'd like to congratulate Fire Chief Rayner, who doesn't appear to be listening to us. He's on video, and then to point out that April 1st was his first anniversary back as fire chief. It's been a great year for the town, and I hope he's enjoyed himself as well.
Thank you,
Congratulations.
Councillor. Thank you, Your Worship, and thank you, the rest of the council. It's hard to believe a year's flown by. Still learning, but what a great bunch. And I'm amazed how well all the departments in this town work together. It's truly a pleasure to work for the municipality. So thank you.
Thank you for joining us, Rennie, your expertise and leadership down there. I mean, it's made a good thing even better with the fire company. So thanks so much for all you've contributed. Hard to believe it's been a year already though. Wow, it's flown by. And just to comment on that real briefly, because we've all talked about it, but just that whole teamwork atmosphere with council and staff. I mean, it just mentioned in the events. I mean, not everybody can attend every event because everybody's busy. But I mean, if you look at the business show, I think we all pretty much took a shift there. The breakfast, I think we had 4 members of council with that. The family day, we had council helping out with hot dogs and whatever. I mean, everybody's showing up to every event. It's seen in the community. And I think we've done a hell of a job, quite frankly, through COVID, a time that's divided other communities. I think we've come together, council and staff, fire department, everybody. And it's good to see, and it bodes well as we come out of COVID. I think it's been a strong year for us, as Ray just said, despite the challenges. I think, even better things are to come with that. Arena construction is really picking up right now. And that's something I should mention. We are going to try to, we talked about at the end of last year when we shut down construction, having an event there in April where everybody gets to tour the site. Councils of Augusta, Prescott, Minister Clark, we're going to invite as well. We talked about that on Friday at the meeting we had at Minister Clark's office. Just a good way to welcome back the construction and show people in town just how well it's proceeding, because that's obviously one of our big good news stories of the year. So anyways, thanks everyone for all you've done through COVID, all you've done at the events and everything else. It's greatly appreciated. So moving on, we do have quite a number of items under staff tonight, so shouldn't pat ourselves on the back for too long. So 12.1 staff report 40-2022. That's the Augusta Prescott automatic fire aid agreement. Recommendation reads that council directs staff to bring forward the Augusta Prescott automatic fire aid agreement for final discussion and consideration at the council meeting of April 19th, 2022. Could I have a mover, please? Moved by Councilor Burton, seconded by Councilor Ostrander, and I'll turn it over to Mr. Armstrong and the Fire Chief to take us through the details here of this agreement, which has been a little while coming, but good things come to those who wait. So Matt, please.
Absolutely. So thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. And what you see in front of you this evening is a very similar agreement to what we have with Edwardsburg Cardinal. Basically the same concept with a base fee, and then each time the fire department is called, then it charges on a per vehicle basis. And using the MTO rates would be how we would calculate those. So with turnover in staff over the last couple of years with Augusta, it took a little bit longer to get it in front of you. So the intent is to start January 1st, and then it would run through 2026 to allow each council an opportunity to take a look and review the agreement. And so, as I mentioned, the vast majority of the agreement is exactly word for word as Edwardsburg Cardinal. And then we worked with Augusta to make sure that things particular to the agreement in terms of coverage area and the services that we offer are reflected accurately in the agreement. So from any technical perspective from the fire service, Chief Rayner would be more than happy to answer those questions. And if it's more of an agreement type of question, then I'd be happy to do that as well. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Armstrong. Chief Rayner, any comments on that before I open it up for questions?
I agree with CEO Armstrong. It basically streamlines the level of service. It also reduces, we don't go to CO calls with no signs or symptoms. So we're not going to take our resources out of town to go to a non-emergency event. Been working closely with Chief Bowman. We were able to, make sure that we're providing a great level of service to his municipality and making sure that, they are, as I said, emergency calls. And we basically, we go north to Domville, and we've taken a little extra territory with the Skate Road along to Charlieville. So it just sort of makes a nice complete box. It's just easier for dispatch, easier for us to know exactly where our boundaries are. So yes, I'd be more than happy to answer any questions council may have.
Thanks very much, Chief. I will open up to members of council. Any comments, questions for the CAO or the fire chief this evening? Councilor Burton, please.
Thank you. Actually, just a comment, if I may. We passed the grass fire in Maynard the other day on Saturday, and Prescott and Augusta was there. So it just shows the partnership that we have with our neighboring municipality. So working hand in hand, I saw Prescott and Augusta firefighters trying to put out the grass fire. So, you know, just a great partnership.
Agreed. And basically, the thing is too right now, because the ground's so wet, everyone thinks it's okay to burn outside, but the grass and small twigs are tinder dry. And then with the bit of wind, of course, yes. So it was very nice to have lots of resources there to mitigate that.
Yeah, good reminder on the dangers of grass fires, even at this time of year.
Yeah.
Ray, did you have your hand up a moment ago?
I was just going to comment that it's also a sign of spring.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Grass fire, that's true. It's great. That season, that's, I guess, the one positive to, well, you always look at the silver lining. So that's good to have you here for that. Gory, you had your hand.
Yeah, Chief, I just want to ask the question, the term of agreement for 4 years. How is that what we always do? Or
The old, sorry, Matthew, do you want to take that or would you like me to?
Sure. So either one of us, but basically the previous agreement didn't have a sunset clause. And so we felt it was important to actually have a 4-year, every possibility of taking a look at it, seeing what's working well, seeing what needs to be tweaked, and then continuing on the relationship.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
This was, I don't know how many years it is we've been looking at this. It predates almost everyone at this table, I think, except probably for Ray and Lee and I. But it's good to finally get it done and lock it down. It turned into a bit of a political football, I think, for a while. But good to have that partnership, as Leanne mentioned. It's a strong partnership with Edwardsburg Cardinal and Augusta, but there's a dollar value to these things, and it's good we establish that. Any further comments, questions? Seeing none, I'll call the question. All in favor? Motion is carried. Thanks again. 12.2 is staff report 41-2022. That's a flag policy for the municipality. Recommendation reads that council provide feedback regarding the draft flag policy outlined in staff report 41-2022 to staff by April 12th, 2022, and that staff be directed to bring the flag policy to the council meeting of April 19th, 2022 for final consideration and discussion. Could I ask for a mover, please? Moved by Councillor Ostrander, seconded by Councillor Shankar. And Ms. Velkamp, I believe you have that report.
I do, through you, Mayor Todd. This report outlines the framework to be used by staff for consistent use of flags at all municipal locations. So attached to the report is the draft policy that the recommendation outlines for council to provide any feedback regarding the policy to staff by the 12th in order to bring it back to the next council meeting. And the policy provides guidance for flag raising requests. At this time, we don't get many of those, but this way we're prepared in the future if we do get those coming in. And it also outlines annual days for half masting just to avoid any confusion, and then it's outlined for the year. And this policy was reviewed by multiple departments. So lots of staff have been working on this one. So everybody has seen it and had an opportunity to comment on it from a staff perspective. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Lindsay. I'll open it up for discussion from members of council. And as noted, we don't have to finalize this evening. We've got a couple of weeks if people want to mull it over and send in feedback. But any comments tonight? Councillor Young.
It's a little unrelated, Brett, but last September when we raised the flag during Truth and Reconciliation Day, I've forgotten what flag that is. Could you remind me?
We actually, we brought a few flags in for
There's only one flying now.
Indigenous, yeah. Which one is?
Starts with an H.
Haudenosaunee?
Yeah. I didn't want to murder that one, so.
Yeah. I hope I'm getting it right.
It's one of the territories that we mentioned in the
Absolutely.
Start of the meeting.
And actually, and that's actually was something I was going to mention. So I just actually discussed it with staff earlier today. I did have a a local citizen ask about some remembrance this year for the missing and murdered Indigenous women. There's a date honoring that or marking that for education, awareness, and reconciliation coming up at the start of May. So that's probably another day we could add for flying the flags at half-mast, and that we're also working on some other ways to acknowledge that, and also possibly some educational pieces. We do have the museum windows at downtown now, plus the clock tower as always. So there's a way we can actually, facilitate some educational moments and issues like this. So we're working on that. I think that's coming back to council in 2 weeks, Matt. We talked about, but that's something we probably could put down for the flag at half-mast too. Thanks for mentioning that, Ray. That's a good one to observe, of course. Any other comments from anyone this evening on this? Okay, so we will move on. I'll call the question on the vote, please. Thanks, everyone. That's carried. And we do have, of course, a little while. If anyone has anything additional they'd like to send in to staff, otherwise this will be brought back for final approval in 2 weeks. 12.3 staff report 42-2022, the recreational complex field, this phase 2 planning for the ball fields, soccer fields, and so forth. Recommendation reads that council directs staff to elicit feedback from local user groups for the outdoor recreation activities as part of phase 2 of the recreation complex planning, and that staff report back to council with the feedback and a draft layout of the recreation complex in May of 2022. Could I ask for a mover, please? Moved by Councilor Burton, seconded by everybody. I'll choose Councilor McConnell. So we do have the motion on the floor. I think it's Matt and Nathan on this. I don't know who's kicking it off, but gentlemen, over to you.
Certainly. So thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. So I'll just preface the report that back in 2018, we did do a recreation master plan. Part of that recommendation was to co-locate a lot of our both indoor and outdoor recreation activities. And so really that was the concept behind the recreation complex that we're working towards today. And phase 1 started obviously with the building of the arena. Phase 2 is kind of the outdoor amenities that we would include in that. So really what we want to do is kind of put the list down, go out to user groups, and there's the possibility that we'd also talk to the lawn bowling club or any other clubs that might wish to take a look at what we could fit in there, and then really determine what we need to do, where we need to put it, and go from there. So I'll pass it over to Mr. Richard to kind of talk about some of the individual the amenities that we're looking at the moment, and then we're more than happy to get any feedback as we move forward.
Thank you, Nathan.
Thank you, Matthew, and through you, Mayor. So it was identified that soccer continues to be an active, popular sport within the region. So there are 2 soccer fields based on that. Continued with a baseball diamond. And then some multi-use court that would have a combination of pickleball, tennis, and then have the option for basketball as well. So something provides an option for all 3 of those activities, and anything else that might make sense as far as if you want to put lines down for other types of sports. A multi-use pathway that would meander through the park. And that would be a couple of purposes there. One would be for active transportation to continue to have a nice path through through that section of the town, and then also to give up a place where you could access a solid surface to get to some of the fields. So we're going to try and make sure that we do a decent alignment of that pathway. And then the other item was a skateboard park to replace the park that was removed as the arena construction started. And then another item is the dog park. So I think that the temporary dog park has been quite active, and a lot of people are using it. So we'll continue to create a new dog park as we continue forward with modifying those fields, and then a children's play area. So if you have smaller children that want to have something to do while they have larger kids playing sports, we'll have something there for that as well. So with like Matthew said, with the co-location, there's lots of parking that will be offered there at the north end, and also throughout the area at the arena complex. And then also there'll be a canteen there and washrooms as well. So depending on how that arranges with the timing of when that building's open to when we have things going on in the fields, I think that'll be something that'll get fleshed out as time continues. So those are the main items that we understood that the public was for being co-located in those areas. That's it. Thank you
Very much. Samantha, anything from, sorry, I didn't put you on the spot. I didn't want to leave you out because you co-authored the report as well. Anything, your perspective on that in terms of programming and so forth? Any observations you'd like to?
I think what we
say?
would like to do is to be able to reach out to community organizations like the Gunners, PDSA, pickleball members, their tennis club members, to get an idea of what it is they're looking for, what their usage would be like, so that when we do have it open and available, we can hit the ground running in terms of scheduling.
Sounds fantastic. Thanks to all three of you for that. So open it up for feedback, comments, questions. Start with Councillor Burton and then on to Councillor McConnell, please.
Thank you, Mayor Todd. This is a great start to the outdoor recreational complex. I do like the, and I think after you talk to Rob Carr or Art Hitzman, the owners and PDSA, the soccer fields, 2 bigger soccer fields are definitely a good asset, because we can have the smaller children play the other way on the fields. I do like the idea of the pathway. Did you say it was going to be paved, Nathan?
Yeah, it would be
Accessibility?
yeah, like probably a 3-meter pathway that would go through the park. Yeah.
Oh, great. Because that I think that's important when, if you have mobility issues and your children wants to play at the playground, it'd be a great option to use the pathway to take your child to the playground. If you need some help reaching out to organizations, I have been involved and volunteered with so many different recreational organizations in the town. So I'd be willing to help out with that if needed. But I love the plan of the children's play area. I don't think the dog park should be near the children's play area, but, but other than that, I think this is a great asset to our state-of-the-art arena.
Absolutely. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Councillor McConnell.
Thank you, Mayor Todd. This is described as phase 2, with the rink being phase 1. And I'm curious, given the fact that much of this really isn't dependent on the rink in itself, of the building for usage. Do we have a building production design? Do we have a time scale? When do you think they'll be able to play soccer? When do you think they'll be able to play baseball? Do we have some kind of a time? I know we're looking at the rink for hopefully the fall of 2023. What about these playing fields?
In current timeline, I understand.
Similar, yeah. So how about Matthew?
Yeah, so I think our intention is to solidify the layout. Then we would go out to tender this year, hopefully in the summer. And if they can get started in the fall and do their completion for spring and early summer next year, then that's certainly what we're aiming for. So that way, be able to get about half the season in for 2023, and then everything would be up and running and ready to go for 2024.
Very good. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor McConnell. Other comments, questions? Mike?
Well, it's just nice to see that this aspect of it is back sort of on page 1, I guess you could say, where we were concentrating on the rink for long and arduous hours and days. I think it's just as important to have this outside part as it is to have the building itself, because it becomes the whole package at that point. And I think that's what everybody intended in the first place, and it's nice to see it, the other pieces coming on board. Well,
Absolutely.
so thanks to everybody. Yeah.
Yeah, it's nice that we're at this point now to begin to start the other aspect. Everyone's focusing on the rink, but there's a lot more going on back there than just the arena. Other comments, questions? Oh, all right, please.
Sorry, I'm just trying to get my head around it. I know we're going to send it out for an RFP in the summer, you said, right? So then they'll give us a design of a conceptual layout and what it will look like.
So what we're planning on doing is, after we have a chance to talk to all the user groups, then we'll present a layout to council, hopefully in May. And that way, if we can all agree on what's going to be there, as well as what the basic concept is for layout, then we can have our engineers finish that work and get it to tender.
I'm like, I need to see type thing. How we're gonna put all this stuff, together. But
And the point was made in the report that the baseball diamond and the soccer fields take up a lot of room. So we have to strategically place those and then kind of fit the other items in between. And then also be cognizant of, balls that go beyond the overall field and things like that. And so just trying to strategically do that so that we're not impeding one activity with another.
Keep the dogs away from the kids. That's a good one too.
Just right beside the multi-use path and fenced area for the dogs to run along the multi-use path. So certainly, all the options are on the table.
okay, thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Shankar. Other comments, questions? Just a couple real quick ones. I did just wanted to caution everyone that's out there with user groups. We want to hear from everyone. We want to make this the best we can. There's only so much space back there. That's the one warning. We do have a lot of rooms going to go to those soccer fields and the ball field. And the ball field, I know I've talked a little bit to staff about it, and I'm sure we'll hear that from users as well. We don't want to go overboard with the ball field, but I think there is a possibility to bring back hardball. And I think we have a field that a convertible field of some sort, so we can kind of get the best of both worlds with that. And hopefully we'll be able to come back with a good design there on that. And the other thing, and I don't think it was mentioned, but apologies if I did miss it, we're looking at solar lighting for outdoors back there. And I think we've noted that in the past. And because solar lighting does seem to be at the point where it is usable for these sorts of events. And it'll drop our cost for the installs. You don't have to do all the wiring. You don't have to do all the extras. And it's also going to reduce our ongoing maintenance of running the sites for evening events. So I'm really looking forward to that and what comes back on that solar lighting point of things, because we got to make sure we get it right though, because it is newer technology, and we don't want to get into a situation where we've got lights that are going to dim every night at 8:30 or whatever. So we've got to be cautious about it and look at the technology. But I think there's some good options out there now to do that. And the other comment I would make, and this just goes back to some of the ongoing debate and that other item where I had, someone talk about sport tourism on the weekend and all that. What are you doing for sport tourism? You're not supporting certain running activities. Well, I had to point back to this. I mean, this is a huge effort to make the town of Prescott the hub of sport tourism in the area. It's not just a rink, it's ball fields, it's children's play fields, it's a skateboard park. I mean, there should be just about something for everyone to do back there. The walking track, for instance. So it's all ages, it's all events and so on. So that plus all the great programming that Samantha's been introducing in her time here. And I just point to Family Day, and just one example of what we can do for family events and kids recreation. We'll be able to do so much more with that facility back there. So when people talk about, hey, you're not supporting sport tourism, yeah, we are, and we're putting $20 million into the effort. So anyhow, had to get that one off my chest too. So any further comments? Okay, and so we will leave off on this tonight. I'll call for the vote now. All those in favor? Thanks, everyone. And we will, this will be back to us in May with the draft layout and the feedback from the recreation groups. Everyone out there, you will be contacted. If not, please reach out to town hall here. We want to get as much feedback from the community as possible. So we lay this whole area out as the community needs and wants. So moving on, we do have staff 12.4 tonight is staff report 43, 2022. That's the financial report for February. Just up for information, Mr. Armstrong, did you have anything you want to highlight on that report?
No, things are moving along as expected. We don't have any major or material variances to date that I'm concerned about. So it was just to show that this is reflective of our new budget, as well as just to bring us to the end of February. So at our next meeting, we will have the March report. And again, I haven't seen anything that causes concern at this time.
Thank you very much. Comments, questions for Mr. Armstrong? Ray, did I see, sorry? You faked me out there. Any other comments, questions for Mr. Armstrong tonight? And one thing I will note, and I did discuss this with Matt just a little bit earlier today, because this came up as part of the budget, just sort of a where we're at report on where we sit with other local municipalities and tax rates, water, sewer, and so forth. It's always good for us to have that and good for the community. And I know Matthew has all those numbers, so he'll be bringing that forward in a future meeting, just so we can let the town know where we're at with all that. It's always good for that sort of transparency and for us around the table, of course. So thanks, Mr. Armstrong. Thanks, everyone. Staff report 44-2022 is item 5 tonight. That's the Canada Community Revitalization Fund. Will update there. So recommendation reads that council directs staff to create the bylaw necessary to enter into the Canada Community Revitalization Fund agreement, and that it be included in the council agenda for April 19th, 2022 for final discussion and consideration. Could I have a mover, please? Moved by Councillor Jansman, seconded by Councillor Burton. Matt, Dana, whoever's taking this, you want to take us through the high points?
Absolutely. So we just wanted to highlight to council that we were successful in our application. And so that's really my part of it. And then I'll just hand it over to Dana in terms of actually what those initiatives are.
Thank you, Matthew. So through you, Mayor Todd, over to council. So we're very excited to announce that we were successful in our application to the Canada Community Revitalization Fund. And as you'll recall, we've noted these projects as part of a lot of plans that we have for this year. So none of these will be new to you, I'm sure. We've kind of banked on the fact that this funding was coming in, and we're very happy that that has come to fruition, and we can now move forward with a lot of the projects that we've been talking about.
Did you get the amount, by the way?
Yes.
I don't think we have stated that. Sorry, didn't want to interrupt, but I just want to remind you of that. Sorry, Dana, go ahead, please.
Do you want the amount first?
However, I just wanted to make sure it was added tonight, because I don't think council knows it's pretty.
Yeah, so the total project value is $107,500, and we've received $75,000 in support through the CCRF fund. So that would require some municipal allocation.
Thank you. Sorry to interrupt, please.
No, not at all. So just to take you through some of the projects, it will include the purchase of 6 portable pop-up shops that we're going to put out to the public as a potential an RFP to really utilize them as a launch pad for new businesses coming in. It would be a seasonal thing that businesses could submit a proposal. Entrepreneurs, we even think there could be a youth initiative. Actually, they just launched the summer company program today. So I'm hopeful maybe a potential applicant might come through the summer company program that would look at maybe leasing out the Lighthouse or one of these other pop-up shops as a potential seasonal business venture. So that's really what the intent of these is for, is to provide a seasonal business opportunity that hopefully would convert into a brick and mortar establishment, a chance for an entrepreneur to test the market, so to speak. And if successful, maybe look to the downtown River Rock district and potentially rent a space on a more permanent basis. And then these would rotate throughout every year. We would hopefully bring new businesses in every year and really use them as a launch pad for business development in the community. So pretty excited about these. They would be painted in, a really nice rainbow of colors, kind of similar to the East Coast kind of feel, and serve a variety of purposes. One could be for a retail establishment, one could be more for like a bicycle rental shop, a real mix, a range of business types. So we're kind of going to be deciding what the format is for these shops based on the proposals that we're getting coming in. So we're pretty excited about this. And then to really lend to that project, the second piece to this will be the renovation of the Lighthouse and opening that up as an actual accessible visitor destination once again, making some infrastructure upgrades to the stairs and getting it to the point where it can be, all stories can be accessible to the public, at least as a viewing platform. Once again, also looking at putting in like live video feeds to provide that view for people who may have mobility issues and can't get up to those second and third stories. And then ideally, we would like to attract pop-up business to the ground floor of the Lighthouse to establish operations for this year, thinking maybe something along the lines of like an ice cream shop, a little gift shop, something to complement the waterfront and the marina as well. So we're very excited about that. I know it's been a long time coming for the public and visitors to to get back up into the lighthouse again. I can tell you where live in proximity to that. It is a constant traffic, constantly coming to the lighthouse, peering in windows, wanting to see and hopefully access that space. So we're pretty excited about that. And then thirdly to this would be the construction of 3 removable patio spaces in the downtown. So one of them would be at the base of the clock tower, serve as a really nice complement to the farmer's market, and also would be portable. So we would use that as the base of the promenade that was just recently approved by council that's going on Edward Street. And it would be activated with planters, seating, some nice pedestrian amenities to really create, it's a bit of a placemaking strategy to really try and make the downtown a more vibrant, livable space, to try and attract people and retain visitors in the downtown by providing them with a place to maybe rest, grab a new sandwich from our sub shop, maybe a nice beverage from the Outpost Cafe, or the number of other businesses that we have in the Riverwalk District.
Chips, I'll throw
Tim's
that
Fish
one in.
and Chips.
too, 'cause Tim's
I
been there.
started to mention them and now I feel like I've got to say one from everything. But yeah, so it's a place for those businesses though that may not necessarily have an outdoor patio for patrons to come and sit and not have to grab takeout and leave the community. So it's hopefully going to really serve as a good, vibrant placemaking strategy. So we're pretty excited about that. And it would also be a great source of entertainment, buskers, some other activations to really liven up the downtown. So that's the thrust of the application and the funding that we've received. And as I mentioned, we're very excited, and all of these would be implemented over the period over 2022.
Fantastic.
Summer and fall.
Excellent. Thanks so much for that update. Over to council for any comments, questions. Councilor Shankar.
Dana, so the total cost of our project is 107 and we got 75.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't think that was clear the first time.
Oh, apologies, sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, so the town's contribution would only be about 1/3 of the total project cost.
That's good. Thank you.
Yeah, getting 2/3 dollars is always, but usually the best you can hope for with fed and provincial. So 1/3, 1/3, 1/3, all of this is all fed. So it's actually a little better than usual. Other comments, questions?
It was in the budget. It was budgeted.
And there actually is another one too. There's a provincial component to this that we haven't heard yet. Correct?
Still waiting.
Dana, we're still waiting on that one. Similar sort of downtown initiatives, I believe. So hopefully we'll hear on that one in the near future, but this is excellent news, of course, from the federal side. Any further comments, questions? Councilor Burton, please.
Thank you, Mayor Todd. And what a great start to, our summer, looking forward to our summer. Right. We have a lot going on in our community and, how are we going to reach out to the entrepreneurs to tell them about our little pop-up shops? And are we going to be reaching out to the businesses and saying, we're going to have a pop-up patio. Please let your customers know that the pop-up patio this week is at Choppers or it's at the Riverwalk Park. We should kind of work together and with our businesses but I'm still curious on how we're going to reach out to the entrepreneurs. That is a very critical piece, if I can jump in to answer your question. And actually, we're going to be addressing that under a subsequent report that's part of this evening's agenda. So we do have a very good a strategy in place for promoting that opportunity as well as marketing some of these great projects that I've just outlined. Great, thank you.
Very good question, because that's always key in the end. You can build it, but you've got to do something else to get people to come. And people think they know Prescott, and we've got to show them that we've got a lot more going on than they might assume. So,
absolutely.
So excellent point.
For the pop-ups, just to address that, touch on that, and I will expand on it. Very transparent. It would be a request for proposals that would be put out to potential entrepreneurs to come forward, and then promoting that, of course, through our channels. Excellent.
Yeah, and win-win for the businesses down there for the reasons you've already mentioned. So excellent stuff. Other comments, questions? Not seeing any, so I will return to the to the motion and ask for a vote. All in favor? Motion is carried. Thanks again, everyone. And we do have under 12.6, that's staff report 45-2022. That's a resolution of support regarding hospital funding. I believe that came forward at our last meeting based on another town of Bracebridge. The recommendation reads that council directs staff to bring back a resolution in support of the town of Bracebridge's resolution regarding hospital capital funding. Could I have a mover, please? Moved by Councillor Jansman, seconded by Councillor Burton. I don't know if we need any discussion on it. Lindsay, this was listed for you, but is there really anything we need to discuss beyond this? We're just basically looking at adopting and was supporting the Bracebridge resolution. And Councillor McConnell, were you the one that brought that?
No, I think it was.
Oh, is it true? Oh, I apologize. I get you two mixed up all the time.
I can see why.
One of you is going to hit me, maybe both.
It's the hair.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah. So she's far enough away, she can't hit me yet. Lindsay, was there any further comment on that?
Yes, through you, Mayor Todd. I wanted clarification. The original motion was just a summary motion saying that the Lake of Bays supported the town of Bracebridge. So council hadn't actually seen the full resolution from the town of Bracebridge. So I wanted in the report to outline what that resolution was prior to saying that that council had supported it, since the original one was just in summary that they supported. So the entire resolution from the town of Bracebridge is in the report. So as the recommendation states, staff was just looking for confirmation that council did approve this resolution to come forward for adoption at the next meeting.
Thanks very much, Lindsay. Teresa, is there anything on this you wanted to point out or refer on to council before we approve this and look to bring it back next meeting?
Only to comment that I do appreciate to have a facility, for instance, in our case, Brockwood General Hospital is an extremely valuable asset to us. And I do believe communities should have skin in the game in supporting that. My issue is that the pressure should not be on municipalities to provide that financial skin, if you will, and that's where I don't want it to be misunderstood that I don't believe that local area hospitals are not appreciated.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Good point. Anyone else have any comment on this? Otherwise, we'll just bring it back essentially whole as Bracebridge had it in that previous report. And what's supposed to do? Lee, please.
Yeah, I supported the resolution when we agreed to fund the construction at the Brockwood General Hospital a few years ago, and I still do. But this brings up a very good point. Since that time, we've been asked by the Kingston Hospital to provide them with funding. I stand to be corrected here, but I think we got a letter from Kempville, did we not?
We basically been asked at one time, rather from all of them, Winchester, Kempville, Kingston.
And Councillor Lossinger last term made a very good point that we got a lot of people moving out of the city here, and doctors are so hard to find that they keep their doctors in Ottawa, and they still travel there for the doctor's appointments. And my wife is one of them, quite frankly. And the facilities that they use are the Ottawa hospitals. And his point was, well, maybe we should be supporting them as well. So what a lot of people don't realize is that the government may fund 90% of a hospital. They don't fund any furnishings. They don't fund any equipment. That's due to local contributions or fundraising. So I think this time that the government stepped up, and since COVID, they have been stepping up much more with hospitals. And I think it's time that both the federal and the provincial government got together and funded more, maybe not, as Teresa mentioned, I think we should have some skin in the game, but I think it shouldn't be 10%.
And it is challenging too when people are coming for that 10% from, like, we're stuck in the middle of a pile of hospitals, all very deserving. all that, people in Prescott, people attend Kempville for various reasons, Ottawa and so on and so forth. So it's tough to say no. That's the thing, but we have to. And I think as part of our resolution of support, do we not designate Brockville as our hospital that we would support? So the others really, unless we change that resolution at some point, we're pretty much locked in for obvious, regional reasons. But, there's another question there on that as well. But any rate, we have the wording from Bracebridge. So it looks like we can go ahead with this if everyone's okay with that. So Lindsay, do you need any further clarification and just adopting this then just wholesale pretty much for town of Prescott from the next meeting? So yeah, I think we've got full agreement on that. So is there any further comment for anyone? Seeing no, then I will call a question. All those in favor? Motion is carried. Thanks, everyone. And on to 12.7, last staff report this evening. That's 46-2022 on the Digital Main Street program and tourism initiatives. I think Dana already gave us a bit of a preview on this one, but the recommendation is that council allocate a maximum of $15,000 in municipal modernization grant funding to support the implementation of a Riverwalk revival program, and that staff be directed to proceed with submitting an application to the Digital Main Street program for funding to extend the Digital Main Street coordinator position. Could I ask for a mover, please? Moved by Councillor Young, seconded by Councillor Jansman. Ms. Valentine, back to you.
Thank you, Mayor Todd. Through you to council. So we're very excited to announce that we just received word Digital Main Street grant program is going to be renewed for a period of 2 years this time around. So they are prepared to offer municipalities the opportunity to apply for a 2-year fully funded position, Digital Main Street coordinator, very similar parameters to the program that has been previously funded for the past 2 years. No major changes to the programs that are available to businesses. So the Digital Main Street coordinator was essentially deliver the same programs that were previously available. The grant program will be made available to businesses once again. And the really exciting part about this is businesses that were previously funded can now reapply and receive a second round of grant funding to really, either carry on implementing some of those digital strategies they were able to tap into funding for previously, or maybe entertain some new strategies. So we're really excited to see the province provide ongoing support for this program. I think council would agree that it's been extremely successful. Feedback that we've gotten from businesses has been nothing but positive. It's really been not only a huge business retention and development piece, but it's also served as a real investment attraction tool and aided in bringing in, new business interest to the downtown. We've reached out to Augusta and Edwardsburg Cardinal. They're very much interested in continuing to partner on the program. As you may recall, we partnered with those 2 townships previously. So the business development coordinator, the Digital Main Street coordinator would continue to serve those businesses well and engage them in the program for the next couple of years. So I think it was a really good partnership. We're very excited to move forward with the application to request funding and looking for council endorsement to proceed with that tonight. And as part of this report, we're also hoping to utilize some municipal modernization grant funding for that, the Digital Main Street coordinator to really help us with the implementation and rollout of some of the programs that are going to be funded through the CCRF that I just mentioned. So, implementing the pop-up shops, the opportunity and helping us really promote the proposal opportunity to potential businesses, really marketing the promenade and some of the patios that we've got planned for the downtown and all of the fun activities that we've got scheduled for that, helping us with actually, coordinating some of the different activation themes that we're looking at. We're looking at everything from a family fun day for one of those promenade days to maybe a busker day, have some special farmers market days incorporated as part of that. So there'll be a whole lot of promotional requirements, and we'd really like to tap into the Digital Main Street coordinator to help with some of that. I'm sure, as most of you have seen, her skill set is very much focused on content creation. She's done some fantastic work to date, and we'd really like to, help
carry that forward into some of the other great initiatives that we're doing throughout the town, as well as support her interest and skill set and help our coordinator hone that a little bit more while she's here.
Sounds fantastic. Thanks for that report. Dana, open it up for comments, questions from council. Councilor Burton already touched on this earlier, but Leanne, did you have anything else you wanted to ask in regards to how that's going to roll out?
No, I'm just excited to be a resident here in Prescott and looking forward to summer because we have a lot going on. And this is going to be the place to be this summer. You know, people should be coming down to Prescott and checking all of our activities and pop-up shops and promenades and new businesses. So, yeah.
Shakespeare's back this summer as well. We've got the improvements happening at Centennial Park, and that's a constant theme. Splash pad, what we're doing at the wall there with Coast Guard. I mean, there is a lot going on. Good destination point for families in the area, and we know people are going to want to travel this summer. So this is going to be the place to be. Any other comments, questions for Dana on this report? Okay, I think we're good. Then all in favor? Motion is carried. Thanks, Dana. And thanks, everyone. So 13 resolutions, nothing this evening, 14 bylaws, nothing tonight, 15 new business. Does any member of council, Ray, sorry?
I just want to take the opportunity to ask Nathan their demolition of the building in the downtown, when it's going to start and what it means to citizens using King Street.
Good, yeah, a good question through you, please, Sean. So Sean, the bylaw secured a contractor to take the building down, as you guys were aware a couple meetings ago. And they're going to start on Wednesday of this week. And I think there'll probably be maybe 5 business days taking the building down and putting it into trucks and taking it away. And they currently have the front fenced off, and then they'll continue to get our authority to fence off the sidewalk, so that there's no pedestrians walking through there, and then also some of the parking spaces as well, because that's where the trucks are going to come in to get loaded, is in the parking spaces on the south side. And then for one day they may have flagging or kind of rerouting the traffic into 2 lanes into the other parking spaces, so that the excavator can get in there and do some work and kind of be encroached on the sidewalk and the road a little bit. So that will happen starting this week.
So
Good.
starting this week, finished by early next week.
I think so, yeah. Yeah.
That's very good.
Yeah, good to get that out there. And if we could, we probably already planned something social media wise, just to let people know as well. And actually on that point, I had somebody ask me today, a resident, about when the Dibble Street East work would start. Do we have a more of a firm time on that? I know we'll let people know and we'll give them advance notice, but is there anything we can say tonight is roughly when that's going to begin?
Yeah, so we're going to have a startup meeting in the next couple of weeks, and then the Ken Miller Excavating will be starting the routing the water lines, the temporary water lines, I believe in end of April timeframe. And then they'll start within the road shortly after that.
So early May, basically, you think? Yeah. That's good. Thanks very much. I've had some comments because people are expecting that's going to be an extensive job this summer. And just want to know to plan around it. Lee, comment?
As long as you're on that subject, I have a question that somebody was asking me. Which end are we starting at?
I believe they're going to be starting at the I guess the most easterly end and coming towards Edward Street.
To me, it would make more sense to start at Edward Street and go east, because they're going to get Edward Street intersection done before we have the tourist section.
Yeah.
But
we'll get that confirmed.
That's a fair point because of the potential disruption on Edward. But I mean, it is what it is, and just go with what the engineers think is the best process. But do the best that they can too to minimize any disruption on Edward or in that area as we move into the summer. So anything else on new business overall? Good point though, Lee. It's good to keep that in mind for travel in the summertime. Gory?
I just have a question, with all this nice changes we're making downtown, how are we coming with the solar lights along the Riverwalk path there?
So we're just confirming with Parks Canada, but our intention is to have them installed on this coming Saturday.
Oh, Great. It's always one of those things that just, there it is, right?
You guys didn't rehearse that before.
No.
Instant response. It's gonna be,
Good.
gonna be nice to see that. Would have been nicer at, before Christmas, but I love Parks Canada. Any other comments under new business? Seeing none, so 16 notices of motion. Any member of council have a notice of motion to present tonight? Seeing no. 17 mayor's proclamations, nothing this evening. 18 closed session. We do have a trio of what should be fairly quick items. So time is 7:12. I think we can move right into that unless someone really wants a break. Seeing no. So recommendations, council moving to closed session at 7:12 PM to discuss matters pertaining to 18.1, approval of the closed session minutes, 18.2, purchase and sale. That's under section 239(2)C of the Municipal Act of opposed or pending acquisition or disposition of land by the municipality or local board. 18.3, identifiable individual. That's personal matters under 239(2)B of the Municipal Act about an identifiable individual or individuals, including municipal or local board employee. And that the CAO, treasurer, clerk, interim director of operations, economic development officer, manager of community services, and deputy clerk remain in the room and online as cases may be. Could I have a mover, please? Moved by Councilor Burton, seconded by Councilor Ostrander. All in favor? Motion is carried. We'll be back shortly.